Hey guys, Jin here with another episode of the Gotta Read 'em All podcast, featured by the Otakuology podcast. And as always, we are covering Pokemon Adventures, the manga, chapter 13, Sigh for the Psyduck. And
Yeah.
also, as always, my esteemed lover of Pokemon and Snorlax is everywhere. He just
I
likes to
do love the Pokemon Adventures manga.
he just likes to hug Snorlaxes.
I wish I could have that life size Snorlax.
Oh, I was going to bring that up after I did this. But Otaku Mike.
My name is Otaki Mike, podcaster, YouTube extraordinaire.
That has Pokemon.
That has the Pokemon manga.
So going back to that, that's what I wanted to bring up. Like, I actually want one of those big life-size Snorlax chairs too.
Are you gonna get the life size Bulbasaur?
No.
Oh,
No, I just need a life-size Snorlax cushion chair or whatever.
those are expensive.
They are. I might have to get like a medium one because I mean they're still pretty big.
Do they have a medium sized one? I thought they always had one of a kind.
I think they have a pillow type one. Then they have one
Oh,
that's like in the middle, and then they have the huge one that's almost like a bed.
yeah.
But no, so I mean, even just on the subject, like I collect the Pokemon gallery figures and stuff too, and Lapras and Snorlax are both ones that I would really like them to make for that.
Yeah.
And it always makes me upset whenever I'm like waiting for them to have more guys come out because they've actually kind of went on hiatus with them right now, currently.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm kind of like, oh, when are y'all gonna have more come out? Come on, come on, come on.
Well, do you
But
have all the ones that are out now?
I do,
Okay.
I do. The ones before the last ones that I got were uh Meowth, Ponyta, and I think Gyarados and
Okay.
Venusaur maybe in there. And so I got everybody. Oh, Machamp, not the other two. Machamp was the newest big one that came out.
Oh.
Um, well, there were three more that I needed that I wasn't going to buy until I actually got to play the game that you and I are both playing now, Sword and Shield, because it's the three starters. So the last three that
Why
I
don't you just buy them? Just buy them.
well, the last I already got them because I
Oh.
I played the game. I wanted to at least get the game and actually play a little bit of it before I
Cause
got them.
don't those sell out pretty fast?
Not really.
Oh.
They don't really sell out too awful fast. So I mean, you have some time, but when they're gone, it's kind of one of those situations like when they're gone, they're gone.
Okay.
Because like I needed a Gengar and couldn't get one for the longest time.
Did you find one?
I did.
You
I did
did?
for about double the price.
Oh.
Yeah, it was like $60. I was like,
Oh.
oh.
Those figures are kind of small too.
They are. I mean, they're big enough for like good stuff if you get the DX figures, which are like the bigger guys,
Yeah.
but some of the smaller
Anyways.
ones.
Anyways, you want to lead us off in this because this is one of your favorite chapters.
This is where we first enter Lavender Town. So I was sitting there thinking that maybe at the beginning of the thing, and then I was like, no, we can't do that. But if you could do the little dee 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 dee,
I could probably do something kind of similar
yeah,
for the music, but we'll see.
yeah, just on these two episodes right here, or
Yeah.
these next two episodes, it'd be hilarious.
Like, I don't know if we can use that particular music because it's copyrighted.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
but this is basically Seattle in the Pokemon world. It's always raining there um, most of the time, and we have the cemetery that was built as a tower, which is another weird thing, but whatever.
That is really weird.
That it was built as a tower.
Yeah.
It is, and I kind of feel like it's weird that they didn't go with the context of the Marowak from the game.
And it's only for Pokemon, right? The
Yeah,
tower.
yeah.
So where are the people buried?
I don't know.
Yeah,
That's the weird thing. We've never actually seen any other cemeteries or anything anywhere. You know, that would be really cool to see though. Like if somebody had like a live action Pokemon movie or something where they actually had that stuff.
there was. It was called Detective Pikachu.
Not that one. That one's based off of our world with Pokemon added into it. I'm talking about like a Pokemon set world with all the natural stuff in our world, like churches and all this other stuff. Because you know the only reason they have churches or cemeteries or whatever are like, I hate to say this, but like a fashion statement in the Pokemon world almost.
Yeah. But
So
yeah, let's get into this chapter.
yeah,
So we see the gang, Red, Poliwhirl, Bulbasaur, Pikachu,
Poly,
running through the rain, trying to find a place to stay for the night. You know
Hey, what's his blue Pokemon called?
what did I say?
Poliwhirl.
Poliwrath. Sorry, Poliwrath. I'm used to saying Poliwhirl.
we're go-
Poliwrath.
we're gonna be with Venusaur, and you're gonna be like Bulbasaur.
Bulbasaur.
What is he talking about? Didn't he evolve like 20 chapters ago?
It's Bulbasaur.
Yeah.
Well, Poliwrath looks very similar to Poliwhirl.
Yeah, which I like that we have this part where Red has tried to talk to a couple different people in Lavender Town, and they all kind of just shrug off. Everybody has basically an umbrella except for Red.
Yeah.
And he says, is this Lavender Town or Leave 'em There Town?
Yeah, leave him there. Yeah, and we get the scene where uh this man shows up and he's like, not very trusting people, are they? And Red gets scared and he's like, oh,
Yeah, just this sweet old guy.
sweet old guy who has no mouth.
Oh my gosh, what if this is the director guy but in a costume?
What are you talking about?
The director guy that loves Pokemon, what if this is him but in a different outfit?
I don't think it is. But yeah, we see that he is going to visit his Dodo. Is it Dodo, right?
Doduo.
Doduo, and that recently passed away. And this is a
Which
sad scene.
I wanted to ask you this real quick because you've seen the pictures of like the final teams and everything.
Yeah.
Is doesn't Blue have a Dodrio?
I think so, yeah.
And so I was sitting there thinking like, because they reading this chapter, they do say at one point that he disappeared.
No, Blue doesn't have one. Yellow has one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I was like, they said in a part that they disappeared when Blue disappeared to go search the cemetery tower.
Hmm.
That this Doduo disappeared as well, and that was making me think. Well, did that go to one of the people that we're going to know in the future,
I don't know.
or something like that?
It's hard to say because, I mean, there is a gravestone here with Doduo rest in peace on it.
Yeah,
And he's talking about, he's like, oh, let's like get you out of the cold, get you home, get you something warm to drink. So we find out that this man's name is Mr. Fuji. And Mr. Fuji takes Red home to get him something to drink. And he kind of tells him the history about Lavender Town and how there's a big giant cemetery built in a skyscraper. And
yeah,
nobody goes there because there's
yeah.
ghosts.
Nobody likes to go there because of the ghost.
Which
Ooh.
Red gets seems to get really interested in this aspect. He's like, ghosts?
Yeah,
Ghosts? What are you talking about? Ghosts? And he kind of starts to laugh it off, like there's no such thing as Pokemon ghosts,
right.
Which I'm like, shouldn't Red know that there's Pokemon ghosts?
Well,
Technically,
maybe because there's Pokemon Ghost and not Ghost Pokemon.
maybe that's the difference. Maybe that's the difference. And that's why nobody talks to anybody. Because the town's fucking haunted.
Yeah.
And they don't want to talk to anybody. They don't
You
like
think
outsiders.
you think if they wonder if any of the people are ghosts,
Ooh, that's a good
and
question.
that's why they don't want to talk to each other?
Ooh, maybe. You think they're just getting like haunted on a regular basis?
Maybe jump scare. Fuck.
Yeah.
You're not actually there. I thought I was talking to you for like an hour and a half.
Yeah, nobody's there.
How weird would that be? Just thinking about it in this situation, how weird would it be to think that you and I were podcasting with a ghost, so you never really heard the other person?
Oh, that would be so creepy.
So if you went back and listened to the podcast, you'd be
I
like,
mean,
"So Jen, what do you think about da da da?" Yeah, I agree.
I feel like if one of us ends up dying before the other, the podcast is gonna stop.
Oh no, don't say that.
I feel like it, for like a eulogy episode for one of us, it'd be like the last episode.
We
That's how
never
I
know.
feel.
We never know how to put it out though.
I mean, you never know.
So what you're saying is we need to do our last will and testament of the podcast.
I
So
mean, I don't know.
if I ever die, these are all the passwords to all this stuff. And these are the pictures I was going to use for these episodes. This is what the schedule was for this time.
But yeah,
I could always do a PS I love you thing to you and send you postcards from the dead.
But yeah, we find out that Mr. Fuji, Mr. Fuji, misses his Doduo, really bad. He has a picture of him, and we find out that Blue is in this picture.
Right after he hatched out of the egg.
Yeah. But Blue is in this picture.
Yeah, a different picture.
With Doduo, yeah. And he's like, Blue. He's like, what, you know that guy? He's like, yeah, I'm on a quest to fill his Pokédex. And he is my rival, basically. And we got to see who can figure it out the fastest, And this is where we find out where Blue had the similar reaction to Red, kind of scoffed at Mr. Fuji a little bit and kind of didn't believe him with the ghosts.
Yeah, and ran off to go to the tower to figure it out.
Yeah, Blue ran off to the tower.
Which that was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so the Doduo has only been dead for 2 weeks.
Let me toss this out. Well, the Doduo has probably been dead about 2 weeks and a half. But when they told in the legend, we know for sure Blue's been gone for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But where do you think we were 2 weeks ago?
Traveling to...
Well, in the manga, like with Red.
He was traveling probably to... What city are we in again?
We're in Lavender.
Probably traveling to Lavender. It probably took him like 2 weeks. Or maybe 2 weeks. 2 weeks was...
Because this is what I'm thinking is maybe off of the last chapter where, we had Blue basically use Bulbasaur to cut his way through the forest and everything.
Red.
Like maybe Blue somehow figured out, just walking across or taking the lake where they were over this way.
Mm-hmm.
And that from there, basically, Blue ended up making it to this old man and has been stuck here since maybe when we had the whole thing with Misty.
Possibly. I mean, we don't really...
What if it's been that long? Because the last time we saw him was fighting Brock. Right?
True. Yeah. Huh. That's interesting to think about.
And we know Misty wasn't there, so maybe he went to Cerulean trying to fight her, found out she wasn't there and left, and then made it his way to Lavender Town.
But would he have to come in contact with Lieutenant Surge?
Not if the SSN wasn't there.
Oh, true.
That's really interesting. It's very, very weird to think about, like, how he could have gotten around everything and ended up in Lavender Town and where Red was.
Yeah.
Because what if he's been stuck here that long?
I really wish we got like a Blue side story.
I agree too. I would like for us to have...
Pause it before they started barking?
No. Well, I am paused it now. No, I didn't pause it before they started barking. Huh?
Okay. I said, we're recording.
Yeah, we're recording now. Now we are.
Now we
Wait,
are.
sorry about that, guys. Had kind of a puppy crisis on our hands.
But I would love to see I would love to have like a blue side story.
That's true. I mean, I would almost like them to have a side story for every character.
Cuz I mean like I know we get that when like yellow shows up, you know? Cuz blue is a big part of the yellow one, you know?
Yeah,
So like we get that, but I want to know his story leading up to like when they meet again, you know? Like red and blue meet.
yeah,
Cuz he's in and out, he weaves in and out of this story
that's true.
very
I mean,
irregularly.
and I would almost like to see all the different stuff with all the different characters, what they do in between, because
Yeah.
here and there you focus on different characters throughout it,
Mhm.
and I think there are parts where we do focus on like Blue a little bit,
Mhm.
but there's still big gaps. Like it'll be because something with Red like stopped. Red gets sick. He's not going anywhere. Okay, let's focus on another character.
Yeah, cuz I mean red blue this first like cut 3 volumes are just about red basically,
Yeah,
you know.
Red and we
It's
get to
from
see
Red's point of
Blue.
view.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
Red's trying to figure this out, right? Red's
yeah,
trying to figure out what's going on with Blue. Where's Blue been? Why did Blue disappear?
right.
Uh
And we also hear from the old man that nobody wants to go there because anybody that goes to the tower never comes back again.
yeah. True story, brah. True story.
So yeah, like what you said, we get Red say, is that what happened? Is this place really haunted? And let's go. We got to figure out if there's actually ghosts there or not.
Yeah. And I like this next scene where he's going through I think it's the tower
Yeah,
or a part of the tower and like some water like drops on him
yeah.
and he gets freaked out.
Oh
And
yeah.
this
I bet he jumped like a mile high.
yeah, yeah, he's like he can tell he's like actually scared,
Yeah,
and he's like, man, he's just like oh man, like this sucks basically.
yeah.
And he
Which
see do you want to take this next part with the side duck?
which he does point out that there's this kind of like a heavy fog that's all around the place,
Yeah.
and so he brings it up. Well, we have a Psyduck that looks like a Psyduck, and Blue or Red starts looking around him, and there's the Psyduck and a Slowpoke, a Tangela, and a Lickitung, all kind of
Hmm.
sitting there, and they look fairly normal. They look like Pokemon, maybe glowing a little
Hmm.
bit to an extent. And then this Psyduck gets really close up to Red, and he sees it, and it is basically just a skeleton with sharp ass fucking teeth
He's
of
like
a
a
Psyduck.
zombie.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
something is kind of controlling these. Everything else has hollow eyes, but we don't actually see them kind of different. But we do see the Psyduck as a complete skeleton,
Hmm.
which I kind of wonder if the Psyduck actually have
It
sharp
kind
teeth like
of
that.
it kind of switches back and forth to him having a skeleton and him not having a skeleton.
Yeah. I wonder if that's how close you are to it.
Maybe.
Which I do like this part where we do know that it's a skeleton, and Red throws out Bulbasaur and tells him to use Razor Leaf, and you kind of got
Uh,
this little
it sticks in his head.
yeah, it sticks into the skull of it,
Yeah. Oh, I thought that part was cool.
and yeah, I mean it almost seems like a old school like ninja movie.
Yeah, and he's like, oh man, we gotta stop these things, Bulbasaur. Sleep powder. And
Yeah,
he does the sleep powder. Sleep powder doesn't work. The Psyduck, they're all these zombie Pokemon are coming forward to him, trying to get him, and he's like, "Oh, like they're ghosts. Nothing's gonna affect them." And I like this
right.
part where Bulbasaur uses Vine Whip,
Yeah,
and he's like squeezing the life out of this zombie Psyduck,
yeah,
and the the Psyduck's eyeball pops out.
Yeah, it does.
It was fucking gory.
Right?
I was like, oh man, it's fucking
I
dark.
kind of hate where the panel is in the book because if you're not like looking too close, you don't actually see it.
Yeah.
So you actually have to push the book open pretty wide so you can see it, and then you're like, "What?"
That's why you gotta get the collector's edition.
But
It's bigger.
we find out that basically the Psyduck is just an empty shell.
Yes, that
But
was so weird.
something is in it and using all of these Pokemon basically for their bones and skin suits.
Yeah, that was so creepy.
Which it
And
looks like a bunch of them are all Slowpoke, maybe.
yeah.
Yeah, I
In
mean,
this
there's
one
some other
panel, it looks
little
like they're all
randos.
Slowpoke.
Yeah.
And
Um,
Lickitung, maybe.
and I like this thing that Red says where he's like trying to mystify me. Well,
Mystify me.
yeah.
And they're all trying to go after him, and I'm guessing turn him into a zombie. I don't know.
Yeah, they
But
kind of well, I think they're just trying to hold him down.
yeah.
But then all these like zombie Pokemon basically like almost Peter Pan over to him because they're all like floating.
Yeah, he's like, oh, we gotta get out of here. He's like,
And,
oh,
yeah,
there's like a purple fire. What's this haze? Is this what's controlling the zombies? He's like, all
yeah,
right now.
because he learns when he runs out of the haze that the zombie guys can't follow him at all.
Yeah, he finds that out. And he sees this purple fire, and he's like, oh, whoa, and this fire like comes towards him. He's like, could it be that? Like, and he sees this silhouette of something. We don't really know what it is, but it's something very familiar. It looks like it's possibly blue.
Right,
And this big fire just rushes over Red past him, and he's like, hey, what's the idea? He's like, what? And he sees all the zombie Pokemon with Blue, and Blue is looking very evil right now. And
right.
he's like, Blue, what happened to you? And that's where our manga ends.
Yeah, and we see Charmeleon standing
Yeah.
beside him.
Charmeleon said, we have not seen these guys since what? Chapter 4?
Yeah,
So it's been some time since we've
yeah,
seen these Pokemon. Or there's just we've seen not Pokemon, but Blue and Charmeleon,
right,
Man, this chapter was cray cray. It was crazy.
right. At least this first half too, before we get into the next one.
Yeah, I feel like
But
this is like a part 1 to a 2-part story.
right,
But this was crazy. I got very much like Night of the Living Dead in the Pokemon world vibes on this chapter. I kind of like how they do the zombie Pokemon. It's cool.
yeah. I think this is another one of those things too. Like we will find out what this purple mist and stuff is here on the next episode, in the next chapter.
Yeah.
But as I keep saying, like with the kind of the outside of combat thing for moves and stuff to be done, I like how some Pokemon have extra little things like this one, and I won't tell you who it is till we get to it. But there's a Pokemon that's actually controlling these zombies,
Okay.
So it's
is it a Ghastly?
maybe,
Is it Gengar Haunter?
maybe. Who knows?
All of the above.
All of them, even from like Gen 7.
Yeah,
they're not even around yet, but it's got to be one of them.
all the ghost Pokemon.
Yeah.
No, I thought this one was like actually really kind of creepy. For a children's manga,
Yeah.
and I got very creepy vibe from it, which I like, and which normally horror manga doesn't do it for me like that.
Yeah.
But I kind of felt a little sense of dread with Red, possibly get eaten alive, maybe.
That's true.
You get like a chunk bit out of him or something, you know?
Or something happened where he was gonna become like a zombie or whatever too.
Yeah, yeah. No, I thought this was a good start to a news story. Most definitely. It was fun. Poor Mr. Fuji. You know. Yeah.
Yeah,
What'd you think?
I really like this. Well, I mean, almost
Uh-huh.
all these chapters we keep saying that we like.
Oh, I can't wait till we get to one where I'm like, I fucking hate that shit.
When we get to black and X and Y, why didn't you let me read this?
Fuck X and Y. Why'd you make me read that shit? Actually,
um,
a lot of people really say they hate fire red and leaf green.
they can take that back.
It's from what I hear.
Whatever, they can take that back. Um,
Anyway,
but I really like this episode, especially like with that aspect of it, because you don't have ones that have such a supernatural power that's not laid out with the world already. And I think because of Pokemon,
yeah,
um, how it's laid out, like we all know and love it, and we don't actually think about it because we've been led through the video games and some of the TV show that there's actually a hard wall on what exactly Pokemon can do.
yeah,
And I like how the manga, especially in this one, takes it and kind of turns it on its head and says, "Oh yeah, well, what about a Pokemon's natural power that's not a move that was created by somebody or
yeah.
whatever? They
But I mean,
they can do this without even thinking."
aren't there some Pokemon that like kind of evolve and have special techniques through training and stuff? Like, I remember something with like one of like the Elite Four
Yeah.
had like a Hitmonlee or something that could stretch its body parts or something.
Yeah, well, for the Hitmonlee, that's one of the things that we have with this one is that a the Hitmonlee and like Brock's Graveler being able to float, those are things that actually weren't supposed to happen originally,
Yeah,
but they did.
yeah.
Um, so that's kind of the oopsie done by the creator, but I
But
think some of
it's
that
also his own story, you
that's
know.
true. I think that some of that stuff actually makes it kind of fun off and on.
Yeah.
But we do get that freedom of other natural things that are in
Because I
Pokemon.
mean, it's this manga is not just pulling from the game; it's also pulling from the anime as well. Because the
Right,
anime is going on at the same time as this.
right. And we
And I
also
know
get this we also will get another move that isn't exactly supernatural based, but because of how a trainer uses
because
it, it works
there's
out a lot better.
later on in the manga, I can't remember where it is, but there's at one point where they even pull like a "Hey You Pikachu" reference into this manga,
Yeah.
where they use like the microphone from "Hey You Pikachu," and
Hmm.
they at one point like the Pokemon Snap guy shows up. I think.
Yeah, Terry.
Yeah, not is it Terry? No, not
I think
Terry.
it is. I mean, but he was actually in the Pokemon games even before he was in Pokemon Snap.
Not it's not Terry. It's somebody else. Terry is that guy nobody liked.
The green haired guy?
No, he had like a green shirt.
No, that was Tracy.
Was it Tracy?
Yeah.
Then who was Terry?
With the orange leagues? I have no idea.
Oh fuck, I don't remember. When we get to it, we'll figure it out.
Terry's another guy, okay? Just
Terry's
like
another guy,
Paul.
just like Paul and
Just like
Phil.
Paul, okay? So, but yeah, I mean, real good. If you haven't gotten to this part in the Pokemon Adventures manga yet, you need to let us know what you think because I feel like these next two are uh, pretty good at being kind of your thriller chapters, and they're excellent. They complement each other very well. They go together very well, and it leads us into kind of another extra thing of what all can happen in the Pokemon world that we may
Oh
or may
yeah,
not
most
know.
definitely, most definitely.
So, But as always, guys, thanks for listening. Uh, Me and Mike try really hard on this stuff to make y'all enjoy it and cover this Pokemon manga, which honestly, that's more for us covering the Pokemon manga. We
I
just try to make it entertaining for y'all because we'll shoot
I
the shit about this
I
all day.
think I think we like covered this almost all day today.
Probably.
We did like 5 episodes today.
Probably. Or
Breaking the fourth
we will
wall.
do 5 episodes today. We're pulling up fanboys, okay?
Oh.
So, but anyway, guys, as always, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Bye.